So it's feeding time. He's 5 weeks old now. He's eating a lot. He gets very frustrated very, very quickly if he doesn't get enough milk. He's drinking 6 to 7 cc's. That's a couple of these syringes. And nuts are going to be his next best friend. He opened up his eyes a couple days ago. And he just climbed out of his cage for the first time. And I happened to look over and I see him hanging on the outside by his hind legs. So he is pretty strong and he can climb. So you have to have a nice secure cage. And I do, but I didn't have the lid closed because I didn't think he could climb out of it yet. Well, now I know. So I have to secure the top lid. He figured it out. I couldn't believe it. I just happened working on some vinyl shirts and I look over and there he was hanging out, literally. But he gets very desperate and he'll fight. He keeps taking this thing out of his mouth, the nipple, and but he's doing great, as you can see. I just keep him there so this napkin doesn't slide. I keep something underneath for him because sometimes he does defecate while he's eating. That'll help with the sanitary part of everything. But he is filled with hair. His hair is getting very long up top. And I still just take my time. He usually pulls on the milk himself. For some reason, he's not doing it today. But you have to be very careful that you don't push it in too hard so he doesn't aspirate, which he's done a couple times. So I have to be very, very careful. So what I do is, and there goes a perfect example as to why I keep a napkin there. So when his milk is not ready, he gets very, very antsy, which I've heard a lot of people say. I do have another syringe, but that one, for some reason, it just, the milk comes out way too fast. So I just make him wait for a second. What I do is I put it in a little souffle cup like this. And I keep it warm. This is his cup. So I just keep a cup of hot water and pop it open real quick. And it's nice because I can do it with one hand while I try to keep him together. And just fill up the syringe. And I just put it back in there while he's drinking so it stays nice and warm for him. But he's doing really good. I'm like super excited. I do put him outside now and let him smell the grass, walk around on the grass. I'm going to be bringing some branches into his habitat so he can start chewing on that because I noticed that he's chewing the cloth and stuff in there, which is natural for a squirrel. But he is doing really, really good. I mean, it's a lot of work. He is feeding now every 4 hours. So I could get a little bit more rest versus the 2.5 to 3 every 4 hours. I am going to be giving him nuts like really, really soon because I don't think the milk is enough for him now. Just gonna do a little bit more research on that. I'm not a professional here. I'm just trying to help someone else with a little guidance. The things that no one told me about was that, you know, now that he's getting a little bit older, he's using the bathroom. I am going to get a little, like a hamster corner litter box so I can start put him in there. At least when after he eats, he always goes, and he's now going on his own. I still kind of make sure that he urinates so that his habitat stays nice and clean. But yeah, as you can see, he went again a little bit, and that's why I keep that napkin there. And he's still going. Then he gets mad when I clean him. You can hear him fussing the whole time. But he wants more milk, so. I'm wondering if he'll drink it out of here. Let's see. Maybe. No. Went through his nose. Not a good idea. Okay. This is his third syringe. That's 369. And he's getting stronger. He's getting stronger. He's getting bigger. So he can drink up to 11 of these. And I'm sure that will get cut back once I start giving him nuts. And right now, as you can see, he looks like he's sucking milk, but he's not. And you have to be careful not to push the syringe in the milk, because if you start pushing on the syringe and that milk starts going while he's like making the motion like he's drinking, I don't know if you can see him, but you'll see the difference if you pay attention. Him actually drinking and him just messing around with the nipple. Like now, he's not drinking, he's just biting on the nipple. So I'll spin it around, trying to get him back on track. No, he's made a mess today. He's got milk everywhere. I was kind of hoping he drank it out of that container. It saved me some trouble. Just get him a heavy basin, let him go drink the milk in his habitat, but it can't be that easy. So like right now, he's not doing anything. He's being a little lazy actually today, because normally he would suck all this milk out on his own, and he's actually waiting for me to do it. He knows how to do it. So sometimes I just let him so that he knows that he has to work for the milk. And as you can see, he gets very, very frustrated just by his actions because he's not getting any milk. He's not sucking hard enough. He wants it, but he's not sucking hard enough. Right now, he's not drinking nothing. I don't lay him back at all. In the beginning, I was kind of like sitting him back. Now I tend to just lay him at a natural position like this. And he seems okay with it. Well, I've been doing this for a little while, trying to get him a little bit more relaxed as he's drinking. This is his natural position anyway in the wild. So be careful not to really hold him up because he can aspirate if you're not holding him at this position. And they can do that very, very quickly and very, very fast. But I'm really happy on how well he's coming along. Got a little bit more milk there. You will know when he's had enough. He don't really pay attention to it too much. He was just drinking like the little drops coming out. You full? You done? You took it out. You can tell he's getting full now. He's like just kind of playing with it. You done? You drink a lot here. And he will sit there in a trance for a little while after he eats. And it's probably because he's contemplating on peeing. And that's what he usually does. And he's like nice and full. And he's peeing. That's pretty bad when you get to know them. He didn't pee a lot, but he peed a little. And you see how wide? I think he drank a little bit too much milk, being greedy. But he knows what he can handle, you know. He's doing a lot of exploring now. Oh. He's peeing. You see his tail's nice and curled now. And that's why I put a napkin there all the time. So this is why if I had a little cat litter box, I would have brought it out with me and then I would just put him in there until he goes. Because I know that every time he eats, he does go. So that's going to be something else that I'm going to work into. So the next thing that I do is I usually wash him up. This cup is his basin, no one else's. So, which he's getting too big for now. If he finishes anytime soon, we could go on to the next step. It's all that milk he just drank. So as you can see, he used the bathroom by himself now. He's 5 weeks old. Pretty disgusting. But I will sanitize my table. People normally, I have, I use the, oh man, he still pooped too. Okay, all right, easy, easy. He's not crazy about having his tail touched a lot. That I did notice. Anyway, let me go to the next step. So I usually get a cotton ball. First thing I do is I wipe his mouth, which he loves. He loves to have his face wiped. I usually have it, I do Q-tips. He did get milk on his head, so I'm gonna wash that up too. And we dipped his little paws in the milk, so I will wash up his paws as well. Kinda, I don't really go too crazy. And I'm not messing around on his eyes because I don't know, he just opened them, so give him a chance. But he doesn't mind this part at all too much. You still gotta clean him. Like I said, he doesn't really care too much about having his tail area touched. But you still have to clean him. I'm not gonna make him urinate because he already did. I'm just gonna wash him up. And there you have it. And sometimes if it gets really dirty, like his tail, I will dunk it in there and just wet it up a little bit because he's got some poop on there. And I would wet him up really good. Get all that milk off of his front paws. Then, time to dry him up. And I dry him up pretty good. And just rub him gently. He's not fond to have his little paws rubbed too much, and his tail. He doesn't mind his head. He likes his little scalp cleaned up, but when I get to his tails, you'll hear him whining like right now. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it dries up pretty quickly. I don't really leave them. But it keeps him clean. I don't do this every time he eats. Now that he's stepping in his urine, I'll tend to clean him up a little bit more. Because he is in his habitat, and I want him to have a nice clean habitat. So I make sure that, he's not smelly or he's not sitting in his own urine. But there he is, fed and ready to go back to sleep, because that's what they do. And he'll lay there for a second, and then he's going to get up. He's picking at his body now. He'll clean his own paws and play with his tail. He's doing some running around. My dogs, I let my dogs smell them, just in case one day they get to him, they don't feel like attacking him, or he gets used to them. He doesn't like loud noises. That I did notice. When my dogs bark, if they know I have him out here, my pit bull will bark, and he gets startled. He doesn't like that, so we usually throw him out and then bring him in and let him smell them. And I let him smell them because, I'd rather him know that he's here than him not know he's here. And so far, what he does is he tries to lick them. So he's okay with having them here, which is a good sign. But anyway, this is my full 5-week video on how to feed and how much he's eating and how well Scar is doing. We call him a lot of things. We call him Scar. We call him Chapuski. We call him the Nene. There's another name. Cheeto Chop. So, he's a squirrel with many names. But yeah, now he'll sleep for a little while. That's it. Until next time. Peace.